be a lot of fun, man. I'm super excited. Let's get this going here. This is the Ninja Star map, is the way I always look at it when I see it. We're going to have Sharp here in the top left. In the very bottom right is going to be Hero.
Yeah, all right. So Largo, it looked basically I took all the maps that looked kind of normal and just kicked out the really crazy map. You know how ASL always has a really crazy map?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one called Lemon where there's like, it's a tiny main. It's kind of like, remember Neo Forte?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So it's kind of like that size main, but 2 gases in it. And I was like, okay, no, I can't, like, this, you know, I don't want there to be a map where it's like, no matter what, X-Race wins. So, yeah, I think it's better to just kind of use the stable ones for now. Largo looks pretty normal if you're looking at it, right? It's got like a regular natural. You know, at third base is relatively close by with no gas. It is pretty damn wide open, though, there at the third, isn't it?
Yeah, the third looks to be one of these awkwardly pointed out, how do I say this? It points outwardly. It's not in a cove or a nook whatsoever, not on high ground even. And it actually has a high ground above it. So, I mean, that raises a lot of questions for me. Maybe not so much in this matchup, because those expansions tend to be entirely ignored. But on PvT and other matchups where you're kind of, it's funny, like Terran almost like, it's like they have creep or something. Do you know what I mean? Like StarCraft 2, where it's like, but they just can't get the whole map, but there's only a certain amount of distance they can cover. So that'll be interesting to have games on maps like that.
Yeah. I actually, the same thing came to my mind is how do you hold that location in Terran vs. Protoss? This looks like Eclipse, but maybe a little bit harder to take the third than Eclipse, but kind of a similar idea where it's really wide open. So yeah, that'll be kind of interesting to see it on that map. But Sharp got to choose this map, so I guess it's pretty good for Terran versus Zerg most likely. You know, the challenger comes in and gets to decide from the map pool, and then that map is eliminated until we go through all the maps, and then we kind of refresh it. But yeah, Sharp choosing this map. He has sent out his SCV into the center, going to the bottom left first. Won't be finding Hero, unfortunately for him, so he's going to have to be careful at this. It looks like he's going to make a... Oh, okay, he does add a second depot. I was going to say, like, if you don't find him on your first scout and you go command center right away, that's kind of crazy.
This is wild for me, Artosis, having this on full screen.
Yeah.
Do you do windowed or full screen when you play?
Oh, I do full screen. Well, yeah, I do.
But you have a small monitor, right?
It's technically windowed mode, because then I can alt-tab more easily, but it's like it takes up my whole screen.
I got a big monitor for my main monitor, and now I'm like looking at this, and like the fucking hatchery's the size of my fist. Like, it's fucking crazy. Like, I feel like I'm like playing this game in VR right now. Just looking at this. By the way, guys, this is I'm trying just on my end and for my chat. I'm trying something a little bit different here, where we're not going to be on camera at all. Am I on camera for you at all, Artosis?
No.
Okay, all right. I just want to see how this is, just having full access to everything in the game. And
yeah, my stream is child and family friendly stream, so tend to avoid that.
There's no camera of me in the corner eating my boogers, since I don't know that I'm on there.
Yeah. All right, so it looks like just a standard bio opener so far from Sharp, but he got his gas relatively quickly. Yeah, so he's going to go for a quick +1 here. Now, Hero's going 3-hatch. And 3-hatch has really returned in a big way. I was actually talking to you about this a little bit, Tasteless, when we had work this past weekend, how the whole metagame is really shifting right now in Terran vs. Zerg. It's really becoming all about the Ultralisk. And people have gotten much better at utilizing Ultralisks in the later portion of the game, so we don't have as much aggressive 2-base stuff, right? Like, the people are going slower mutas, building their economy a little bit more a lot of the time. And 3-hatch has really come back with a vengeance, which Hero should be happy about, because he's always been a 3-hatch guy.
Yeah, that's very true. He has always been a 3-hatch guy. Hero, a very sharp Zerg player. You know, he reminds me a little bit of Soma in that, like, he really just kind of knows how to kill you outright in a lot of these games. And we have, by the way, these Marines coming up here. I feel like this is a bit of an overextension here by Sharp.
He did not expect that. He's probably dead now. So that was a very good game one. But yeah, he's on 1 racks. That was like the most ultimate greed that you literally could ever do. What he was attempting to do there, like, he assumed that it would be very drone heavy, so he just walked across the map while Sixlings chased his SCV. He hoped to get down, kill a couple drones, then maybe walk in between the minerals. But now he's in this situation where, like, he can barely even mine. He doesn't have a lot of racks, so he's losing almost half of his economy just making sure he doesn't die. So, like, every advantage in the world goes to Hero.
Yeah, this is a very difficult position. Now, Terran isn't... It's not over, but it's like a very uncomfortable spot here. I mean, we have 5 SCVs that are just not mining. Where Zerg is, of course, back here developing pretty nicely here. Spire's actually kind of tucked into a pretty cool little location. It's always interesting to see where people try to hide stuff on new maps. Gives you an appreciation for what the area's like inside the main bases and in other spots. And so these Marines are going to come out, and they're basically going to chew away these fuelings that are here. But, Terran is a race, and I think it's especially true in this matchup, where you really can't let yourself get tripped up early on. You kind of get tripped up no matter what against Protosses in certain situations, but you can try to navigate the game from there. But it seems, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it does seem like from the Terran's position, if you really hiccup them a couple times, they're going to have a very tough time in the mid game and the late game. Yeah,
you kind of have to just have a very clean opener. The better you get with Terran, the more important it is, because there's just no one's going to be forgiving about you getting back into it. Like, your turrets have to be on time or you lose. You have to be hitting your macro cycles and have your bunker and have your units in the right position in those early portions of the game, because your army is just so fragile at the beginning. But even though that was a tough opener, he lost those 4 Marines, he had to pull a bunch of SCVs. The Spire was so slow this game that he's kind of okay, right? Like, he's gotten up reasonably well. He already has his +1 about to finish. He's getting up into his factory. His turrets are going to be ready. He didn't lose SCVs. He just lost some mining time and some Marines. So the game is going to go on, but still you have to look at Hero and say he has a better position.
Yeah, this is looking pretty strong here from Hero. His Queen's Nest is just now finishing, so Hive is going to be on the way here in a second. Now, I don't know. I mean, I might be wrong about this, but it seems like since there's such how do I describe this? If you can put your camera, Artosis, to the Terran's expansion, then go to the right, this area where there's like a lake and a high ground area, I want to ask you, is this a situation where Guardians could be viable since Terran really can't get a third easily at all?
You could go for a Guardian build. They're still used sometimes. I think this game it wouldn't quite work. Normally when you go a Guardian build, it has to be a 2-hatch play because you have to keep Terran slow on their tech as much as possible. Whereas this was slower. You see his starport's already done, right? And the Hive isn't done, so that would be a bad situation. But as far as map architecture goes, that's definitely a good location to morph Guardians. But honestly, the natural is made pretty well. Like, I like this natural. This is something I complain about a lot. And where, like, you don't have room for missile turrets. Here, there's some space to actually build. So you have some room to defend if he goes for something like that.
You saw Hero just there cut into the Terran, try to get any SCVs that he can. I like Sharp's turret placement. This is a thing that Terran players have to learn right away, is like, how do you set your turrets up so that you're defending, but you're not just making unnecessary numbers of turrets, because the whole 2-base setup here for the Terran has to be very tight. Anything that you're doing on 2 bases to power up, you really have to be very precise with how you do it. And I think he's really already kind of solved this for a lot of Terrans. When you look at the positioning of these turrets overall, the 2 in the main, 1 in the back, 2 near the barracks, and then the 4 kind of in this little horseshoe shape over here by the minerals.
Yeah, his turret placement is immaculate for sure. And everything, I mean, is going pretty much as expected. Again, Sharp wasn't able to put on any pressure because of the early faux pas, but he's getting right into his science vessels. He does have a radiate on the way. He has +1 already for the Marines. But Hero's coming up. He has lurkers now. It looks like a very standard, normal game.
Ooh, He's going to try to attack in here. He gets a really good surround and actually manages to kill all of these lurkers. Beautifully done. This is some pretty big momentum here from Sharp.
Yeah, that was great that he was able to pick that off. That was a little bit greedy. I think Hero was hoping to get up there and just force him back, or maybe even hold position lurker. But as is, this is terrible. Like, where he brought those lurkers, I guess, from, he was morphing 3 on the ramp to this third base. So instead of having a third base, now he's going to lose the third base. And he lost those lurkers, and he lost just about everything.
He's going to be able to come in here. Can he get the scan? Oh, he doesn't need a scan, excuse me. There's vessels over here. And this is enough Marines that, like, I think he's going to be able to deal with this pretty nicely. Now, more Lings are going to come in here. And as we have this lurker burn out because of that irradiate, Zerg is not okay, but they might be able to live through this. The thing is, there's more Marines coming up. And really, with Terran, you're trying to get a certain number of Marines that you can basically arc. You can, like, make a big concave around them, since and lurker shots, you know, they fire in a straight line. So if you're able to get in that kind of position, you're probably okay.
Yeah, and I mean, his spread is good. His micro is strong. There's like kind of enough units here to just barely hold on to the base for Hero. But it's too bad that he ran those 2 lurkers up. If those had just been sitting on the ramp, this game would look so different right now. But I guess that's the nature of StarCraft. You're trying to get all these edges. Now, we do have 2 dropships headed towards the main base.
So this is huge right now. And this is going to be probably the most important moment of the game, because if he can if he can deny the lurkers from really doing any damage here, and stop the, you know, and the Marines can just kill off this Defiler mound and possibly do insane damage into the main, this is going to be huge.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, like, he loaded this up so quickly, he doesn't even have medics with this, so this is a very small use army. The Lings come in and clean that up. He ends up not killing the den, not killing the pool. It was still a good drop, though, I think. He got some drones. He, you know, he's keeping him busy. This is all very important stuff.
Yeah, really insane stuff, honestly. Like, a great hold there. It seems like Sharp has got a lot of good ideas. His execution isn't quite clean. I think if he had a medic or 2 in there, he would have way more sustain and maybe be able to do a little bit more. Now we've got a big push coming across the map.
He's got like a lot of fire bats in here, so he might be going for a bust. This has become a little bit more popular lately, to try to bust through small lurker defenses with fire bats under Dark Swarm. So we'll see if he goes for that. Like, see, he kills that one that's under the Dark Swarm. The Ling's not going to be so useful against these 1/1 fire bats. Yeah, he can go right through.
Fire bats have just a little bit more hit points than Marines. That actually amounts to quite a lot if you're able to get surrounds off. And so you can see these Lings are no longer a threat. And the fire bat push there, again, it's kind of parried there with the small number of units that he actually had, that Hero had back there. But now Terran's outside the Zerg's base. He's taking that expansion. You and I were pretty interested in Artosis. This one that's kind of out and in a very kind of weird position. But yeah, he's got a little bit of a contain on the Zerg, and this is going to be very important to see how he manages this.
Yeah, as long as he's keeping his vessels alive, he should be pretty good. I want to see if he's going to go into BCs, by the way. It's been trending that they're a little bit more popular right now. But he's still making science vessels, sending a couple dropships back into that main base. There's no Scourge up there whatsoever. Drops a medic off. And he's carpet bombing on top of Zerglings, so that's not going to work particularly well. And that will get cleaned up. Oh no, I guess he does get just a few Marines that do get out behind the Hydralisk den here, so that is annoying to deal with.
Yeah, if he gets that Hydra den, it's going to be a little bit of an interruption as far as lurker production goes. And if this isn't cleaned up in time, it's also possible that the Terran can just push into the front. So right now we've got Hero really up on the ropes here. But there's a lot you can do as Zerg still. And keep in mind, if a few good Dark Swarms come down and wipe the Terran's army, Zerg is going to explode in map control here.
And now look at this. He's coming in. He stims and spreads, sends in the fire bats. Is he going to have actually enough fire bats to break all the lurkers? I don't think he has quite enough. Yeah, they do get cleaned up. Good try there, but he is going to pick off the Nidus. Always a very strong building to kill. Still has 6 vessels in here as well. Looks like he's upgrading either EMP or Vessel Energy, which is super cool to see. Sharp definitely in massive control of this game.
Yeah, Sharp looking good. Small number of Lings come back over here to the third base, but they're going to be shut down with an overwhelming amount of Marines. And it doesn't seem like there's any one location that the Zerg can be broken at. Terran's going to try to seesaw the action over onto the lower left side of the map and maybe try to push in here. Now, the Nidus is going to finish. We need Lurkers to come in here immediately.
Yeah, he's going to have a hard time defending this. I think this game is going to actually end, Tasteless. Like, we're at sub 70 supply, which is really the bare minimum you need here to defend things as Hero. He kills the Nidus, which means every drone is dead. The hatchery is dead. Really, Hero sitting here on 2 gas, Hero's dead.
Yeah, no, I think there's no way that he can recover here. Really interesting fight with these two guys. The Defiler's actually shot down. Pretty big plays there. And yeah, I mean, Zerg just does not have the gas anymore to be viable whatsoever. Really back and forth game here, though.
Yeah, really an excellent comeback here from Sharp after a tough beginning. And Hero GG's. The first game going to go to Sharp. All right.
All right, GG.
Yeah. That was pretty fun. Like, the Spire was pretty slow from Hero. Like, he made that huge plume of Lings, right? Which actually caught Sharp off guard, and then Sharp, like, parried it pretty well. I think the cool thing we saw from Sharp, and I'm unclear as to whether this is because he lost so much mining time, and he had to adjust into this, or it was his plan. Either way, it worked out well, but the fact that he went +1 3 racks tech, because he got his vessels out quickly enough that he was really able to get out on the map, whereas a lot of +1 builds, you go into 4 racks or 5 racks and really try to get some presence on the map. It felt like what he did here fit this situation perfectly.
Yeah, very, very good stuff. Give me a sec. I'm just going to refill my water cup. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.